Well, good afternoon, folks. It's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I do bees, and I water grass. Welcome to Southeast Louisiana. Well, hello there, bee. A bee is visiting me here in front of the honey house. Why? Because this is a bee crossing. I got the sprinkler going, folks. We're almost in a drought situation around here. No, not really yet. Not like we were last year. But we've been about 2.5 weeks here without rain. We've gotten rain around us, not here. But nonetheless, it's dry and crunchy. So just watering patches of grass. Don't want to lose big patches like we did last season. But the bees seem to be doing fine. We're not in a full-fledged drought like we were. There are some things going. So we've got a couple things to do today before we get done. Forgive me if I'm filthy and nasty, but I just got done cutting 2 acres of grass next door, and it is dusty. Did I tell you it was August 21st? It's August 21st. And I am happy to announce, I am so happy. This is the part of the season where I'm so relieved because I've been working so hard toward the ultimate goal of harvest and getting the bees set up for fall. Well, I've harvested and gotten the bees set up for fall. We got all the honey in the buckets. That's such a relief to have it all in the buckets and done. We'll take a quick trip inside in the honey house. Got to still straighten it out. I'm going to add 2 more rows of buckets there in the honey stack there. Last of the supers. It's about 15 of them sitting there, plus a deep. Everything is empty into the buckets. It's just a great time. As you can see in here, there's a little bit of honey in there, but we'll wash these out. I haven't washed them. Everything's out, but nothing is washed down yet. Same with the extractor. A little bit of film of honey in there. This thing drains so good with that. This Hilco, all the Hilco products have that tilted bottom, that cantered bottom. It's canted to an angle, it's got a slope, and that valve mounts at the very bottom so it drains out. So just I'll do a video on this, how I got to clean this honey house up. I got to get this cardboard off the floor. Everything is wiped down over here, but we got to get everything finished, wiped down, buckets organized, everything off the floor. I got a lot of wax. There, that big drum, the bucket back there, the tote back there, 2 totes there. Got to get everything organized, and we'll scrape, sweep, and mop the floor. Get everything up. I'll wash down this equipment. I'll show you how I do that. I have a spigot on my tankless water heater down there with a hose, and we'll get all that done. And my goodness, folks, the honey's in the bucket. The honey's in the buckets. It's just, it's finally done. It's finally done. It's all come together, and we're good. Anyway, yeah, it's all done, and I'm excited. So all we're doing now is getting bees ready for fall, and you saw that in the last video. We're getting treatments on them, and that's wrapped up. I'm going to put a dash of a treatment on this other one because I got to go to the Louisiana Beekeepers Convention this weekend. And by the time you see this, that should be over. But I'm not going to be back on the Saturday to retreat the second treatment on the last colony I have to do. So, and I'm only doing 2 on that one because it was a swarm. It did without brood for a long time. I've done none on the Apame. It was requeened twice. And it's done without a lot of brood. They got a good amount of bees in there to hold through till the winter and on to spring, provided they're healthy. So I'm not going to put anything on those. I'm going to count on the brood break having worked for me. And we're going to go ahead and get some probiotics on those 2 and see what's going on. I got a pollen trap set again, trapping pollen. I'm going to check that as well. And I want to put another pollen trap on. And then I want to show you how I store my honey boxes, my supers. And as far as storing comb, I'll do a whole separate video on that. I try to do one each year just to show everybody. I get a lot of questions. So what we're going to do now is go apply some probiotics to 2 of the colonies really quick. And we're going to check a pollen trap and hopefully install a pollen trap. And we'll go over the honey supers. But yeah, honey's in the buckets, folks. I'm excited. We had a 4,000 pound harvest. Phenomenal. The spring harvest is what did it though, folks. A lot of people are asking me how many hives you got, how many this. I've changed my management strategy to requeening with queen cells. Basically, it's a timing thing. Moving my queens further away from the peak when they start laying rather than walk away splits where they were just started to lay right before the flow, and that took half my hives that you split a hive in half. So the other half, the requeens, I'd say 8 out of 10 of them don't make honey. I've revised that, and now I requeen earlier so that my queens are ready to go and my hives peak at the right time. But that spring flow, wow, that put us up 700-800 pounds right there. All right, well, let's get rolling. As I understand it, I might be on the stream team tonight, so I got to get busy. All right, this is one we're going to throw some a little bit more of the thymol on, which they're a lot less bearding than they were. It's cool too. We've actually had cool mornings in the high 60s, low humidity. And while it's getting in the mid 90s in the afternoon, it's very, very low humidity. Like right now, there's a breeze and it does feel great. Whew, I love it. So let's, I'll go ahead and do this one now. I was going to do this last, but we're here. So all I'm doing with these other day, I forgot to put probiotics on them. All right, let's see what they do. Because I don't have my jacket on. So I just want to kind of calm them down a little bit. I don't have my gloves, I don't have anything. I want to mainly get probiotics on them. This is Super DFM made by Strong Microbials. It's a probiotic, it's a white powder. I started using it last year. And I'm going to do a monthly regime. Wow, are they eating my hand up? Woo! All right. Let's see if we can get them calmed back down a little bit. Let's put this over here. Okay. Ooh, got a little smoke on me. All right, we're good now. They seem to be okay now. Don't need that card. So what we're going to do with the probiotic, y'all have seen me do this, have been watching. I'm just going to give them a little extra. So this is going to go on about the first week of the month, starting from here on out. I do want to give them a little bit more of this. Give them some fresh. Don't want to give them a lot because it's hot. I'm going to give them the half dose. It's also early, but I don't think early is going to hurt them any. And really, they did have a nice brood break, so I don't want to run them out. This is a great colony. So they got probiotics, they got their thymol. Let's get them closed back up. It's hot, they're aggravated. There we go. So we don't have a lot of bearding with the colonies today because it's actually less humid. It's cooler. So they're usually covered up. The thymol ones are still pretty heavy on the outside, but that's obvious. These colonies all, ouch, I'm getting stung in the elbow as we speak. I guess one followed me over. We got these. Now this second one from the right, it's probably my weakest one. I got one other one that's a little bit stronger, but same way, not a lot of bees. But that little single is usually packed up a little further on the outside than it is now. But it's like I said, it's cool. It's cool out. And it's probably back in the mid 80s and the breeze is blowing. And it's so nice because there's so low humidity out here. Now let's check this one out. I do want to stop trapping pollen. I don't know that there's going to be a lot of pollen in here. You're going to see it for the first time just like me. I just said it because I saw a lot of pollen coming in last week. And I said, well, shoot, let's set it and see what happens. Well, this is the time of year I don't want to starve them of a bunch of pollen. So let's see if it's even worth messing with. It's stuck shut. Nah, they didn't bring anything in. And that's the pollen I saw, a little bit of that white pollen, but they're not bringing it in. There's no need to, there's not a lot out there. Yep, so they're not bringing in any pollen. Definitely in the dearth now. I just turned it on, the pollen trap just because I saw pollen coming in. It might have been just that one colony bringing it in. Right now the bees they're not looking for it really hard. The queens are slowing down. The pollen supply is not that heavy out there. So we're not gonna see much, but it was a shot in the dark. I'll really get serious about the pollen in September. That's when I'll start trapping 3 days on, 2 days off for a couple colonies. I talked to a guy in North Carolina that had sold a lot of pollen, and what he did was interesting, but I don't have enough traps. He'd do like most all his hives for like 4 or 5 days at one time, once a year, and he'd get all he needed. So you hit it right in the goldenrod season and you could do that. And also in the spring when everything's first starting blooming, I could see that working, but I don't have that many traps. So let's go goof around with another colony. I'm gonna turn this off actually. Let's smoke them off the front. Like I said, sometimes they get ornery when you open this thing up. And it's hot in the summer. And I don't want to have to go get gloves right now because I'm ready to be wrapped up for the evening. So I just keep shooting smoke at it. And you got to kind of get them out from that bottom board so you don't squash a bunch. I don't like to squash any. There we go. I guess there's really no need to tighten that nut right there, that bolt, but I do it anyway. Never know if a skunk or something will try to pull that up. Possum. All right, so we'll reset it next week when I get back from the convention. They're not bringing in any pollen, so it wouldn't hurt because I'm only going to be gone a couple days, but at the same time, I get back or something happens or I get distracted and forget, I could cause a big problem. Let's go see if we can set this other trap so it'll be ready and they'll be used to going in and out of it. So it's got to be a short board, but it's got a good sealed up box. And this is a newer queen. This is a green queen. And this is not one that's got thymol. Like you can tell the ones that got thymol. They're really not bearding much at all today. That's nice. Yesterday, it's nice to see them when they're bearding a lot because then you know your bees are doing good. Here's two of the other thymol ones. This one here, which I got a crack in the top. That's not good. Huh. Need to fix that. And then this one. This is the trap that you can see. They're cheap. They're relatively cheap to buy. I don't know what the price is in these days. I'll smoke them all in, a heavy smoke on them, just to get them all out the way. And all this one does, let's see if it's going to work, slips in the front door, like so. And then you got to open the... Now what I do, inside there, that door shuts. So when it shuts, like so, now I'm trapping pollen. All right, the problem is it's supposed to lock in the up position, but it doesn't always stay there. And so what I don't want to do is accidentally start trapping, not mean to. So what I do, I just throw this block in here as a safeguard. That way if it falls down, it'll at least catch on the block. So I push up and slide sideways and it catches the pin. But if it does come down, that block will keep it from landing all the way closed. If I don't want to trap, because you never want to starve your bees of pollen. We don't want to take too much, just like honey. Never want to take too much, as I understand it. Now, another reason I don't want to start trapping with this one, the other one I can trap for a few days and not even come out to it. This one, you need to check, because varmints can pull this drawer out. All right, this drawer just collects all the pollen. But also, if it rains, even the instructions say, hey, get it before the rain. You know, it's not watertight. So there you go, that one's set. So we'll set the actual, what's on there, we'll set the actual pollen trapping door down when I get back. I'm gonna go fix this colony. I don't like that space, it shouldn't have had that. I might put another dab of thymol on it. Okay. Well, there's some bees on there, huh? Gathered up in that space. I don't know why this thing is built up so much. It's just like a lot of... dead bees up in the front, which brings ants. Which we don't want. All right, well, don't go down, don't go on the ground. Still smells like thymol. I wonder if it's just the lid has propolis on it. I think that's the problem. Fix that. Really don't want the thymol in the colony. Let me get some more I'm gonna put on here real quick. I'll be right back. All right, I am back. I have got the thymol. I just want to make up for anything that might have, it needs to be in the colony, not being pulled out the top. And I'm not gonna, which it doesn't hurt to give them another dose. Oh. All right. The only thing that hurts is the queen continues to not lay, and we don't want that. But I also want to make sure I get a good kill. And this is a new queen. I'm trying to figure out if it seals. Yeah, see, now that's down. That's the way it should have been. Just like that. Okay. Very good. Oh, very good. Very, very good. Happy. All right, we'll put that brick like that. All righty. Well, let's gather up our stuff and go put some probiotic, super DFM, on the Apple hive, because they're due. Folks, as I'm passing by, I do want to show you my honey supers. I'll go over how I store brood comb in another video, because it's a process on itself, and I'll re-mention, you know. I will mention once again how I do these, but this is how I store my supers. Everybody wants to know how I store them a lot of times. This is how I store them. And so the ones that are still in the honey house, they'll go on that stack right there. I'll bring them out here. But normally right after harvest, what I do is I put them out here, and you see I crisscross them so they can get air and light through them. And these all have had no brood in them. And so I just put them out here, let the bees clean them, and leave them. I don't do any treatments in my honey supers. I do not like to put, and these nukes were the ones we made on top of the colonies. They're white comb, completely clean comb, no brood comb. I don't have any problems with wax moths. Now ideally, and now that I have more room, as you can tell I got more room now, I can move junk out and clean stuff. Ideally, this is how I used to store them, up and down, but I run out of room and it's not as stable. But what I'm probably going to do is go through here and take them all back down and stack them vertical like that. That lets air and light through them, and I have no issues. Now it looks like brood comb, but it's not. It's just old comb, but it's clean, no brood. Any brood, as I pull stuff out of the extractor, I always set a couple supers to the side that I consolidate all my brood comb. So any supers where the bees got into them, like two new ones, two brand new 2024 combs, they have brood in them. So I consolidate all my brood to these boxes, and I stick these off to the side, and I don't even treat those with any paramoth or anything. Now Certan is out, and I might try that on some of them, but I don't like putting anything in my honeycomb. So I stick the brood ones off to the side, and I'll stand these up too. As you can see, brood 24. And what I'll do with all these is I'll consolidate them to the side to where if something does get in them, they kind of get in right there. But I usually I don't lose a lot of that unless it's heavy brood. But I don't let my honey supers get heavy brood. The queen will sneak up in some of them, lay a patch or so, and then go back down. Very rarely do I have them laying constantly in them. So I usually don't have any problem. I'll reuse them next year, and what I'll do is any that are good still, they'll be the first ones I put on in case the queen does want to go up. Like when I put early supers on top of a brood nest, and there's not a good ring of honey over the top, I'll use those. That way I'll go ahead and have some sacrificial brood comb in my honey supers. But for the most part, I don't have a ton of wax moth problem with those. These I definitely don't, because there's no brood in them. And that is simply how I store them. I don't put any paramoth in them. I'm not doing any Certan. Now, with brood comb, whole different ballgame. Moths, we'll get into that. And I'll go through it in depth, but I do have some experimental combs here that I'm using Certan on. And so far, like that damage was there when it went in the freezer already. This was all already there. That's all been frozen. You can tell it's brown. I just did this because I knew they were very desirable for wax moths. And so, like this one, nothing has gotten in them. Like I said, that's all from before. Nothing's gotten in them. So I'm trying this Certan product out. It's BT. It's a biological deterrent for the wax moths. Stan Gore was kind enough to send me some. The only concern I have with BT is it's for chewing insects, and insects have to start chewing first. How far do they have to chew before they die? That's kind of my thought, but I'm not seeing any damage on those. But that's how I store my honeycomb. Straight, plain and simple. I don't use any repellent or anything, and I'll go through brood comb in another video. I'll tell you something I learned in beekeeping over the years. When you're going to do like a task like this, I have learned, have your stuff ready. Have the container open. Have the smoker already lit. Have your, because I tell you, I don't know how many times all of a sudden maybe they'll start stinging like crazy. Well, I got to get busy. And I'm fumbling with the container trying to open it, and who knows what else. See if they spread out on this from the last video. Yeah, I guess they're trying to get in there. Well, we know where the brood nest is. It's over right in here, so I split it with that frame. But we're going to give these bees some probiotics. I'll put a little bit over here. Putting a little extra on is not going to hurt them. All right, so these bees have now, whoops, get out of there, have now got a dose of probiotics on them. Again, I'm not going to treat these because they went without brood. Get out of there, because they went without brood for quite a while. So that did break up the reproductive cycle of the mites. Just like that, tasks are done for the evening, and it's time to get wrapped up. Well, everyone, here we are, right back where we started, right in front of the honey house, watching the sprinkler run, getting my grass less crunchy, and the bees are taken care of. It truly is a time of the year where I am like, you know, that treatment on there, that's the last of that one. We've got all the probiotics on for the month. The bees are what they are at this point. They're all heavy. There is one single that's the one we treated. It could be considered a little bit light, but it's enough to get them through. Check the pollen. You know, I saw pollen coming in. It might have been just on a few bees. I just set it to see what it would do. It's been set for 4 days and there's nothing. So that tells you right now, definitely in a dearth. So with no pollen coming in, that's slowing our queens down. No nectar obviously coming in. Would I put a pollen sub on? Not this year at this point. They've got the bee bread they need. They've got the resources they need. I don't need to feed them right now. They're heavy. What treatments needed to be done are done. Once again, the probiotics are on and the bees are set. They're all reduced down to the boxes like I like them. They're packed in those boxes, so that helps with beetle problems. And we're sitting where we need to sit. So now it's a matter of just getting everything put away, reorganizing everything, getting the honey house cleaned up, getting brood comb stored that needs to be stored. And it's time just really to start getting ready for equipment wise, getting everything organized, inventory, so I know what we need to buy, where we need to go, and what we need to replace. All right, guys, well, it's a beautiful evening. I've been invited to be on the stream team tonight, so I got to get rolling. I appreciate all you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Just out here doing tasks that need to be done as we go into fall. It's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I do bees. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week, and may God bless you. We'll see y'all later.